One.
Okay, alrighty. Greetings. Welcome everyone to the session focusing on transformational climate action with environmental education, sports diplomacy, and youth engagement. I am your moderator, Jessica Lee, Director of the International Youth Conference. Joining us today are two amazing speakers, Ilse Esparza, who is the project lead at the Commission for Environmental Cooperation, and Zahab Khan, co-founder of Educate Athletes Social Welfare Organization, two times Guinness World Record holder, professional squash player and coach, and the former longest-haired athlete. Ilse will talk about engaging youth in a cooperative manner for cooperative projects at the Commission of Environmental Cooperation, while Zahab will talk about environmental education and sports. Just to give a description of the Commission for Environmental Cooperation, CEC, CEC is supported by the governments of Canada, Mexico, and the US to promote trilateral environmental cooperation. Under the North American Agreement on Environmental Cooperation, which came into effect on January 1st, 1994, the three governments affirmed the importance of cooperation in addressing environmental affairs trilaterally. The North American Agreement on Environmental Cooperation focuses on environmental protection, conservation, and sustainable action, while the North American Free Trade Agreement focuses on trade liberalization and free trade in the North American region. CEC also works with civil society organizations, NGOs, intergovernmental organizations, and many more. Ilse, I will turn the floor to you. How has the Commission for Environmental Cooperation strengthened youth engagement and promoted youth-led cooperative projects?
Thank you, everyone. Well, just to add up a bit on your introduction, I'm a project lead at the Green Growth Unit, and basically I'm focused on circular economy and environmental education. And today I'm representing the Green Growth Unit and the CEC. As Jessica mentioned, we were created in '94. We are an intergovernmental organization that was created by the three North American governments, and we facilitate and coordinate cooperative work between the three North American countries. So we do that through three types of work. We have grants that we give to youth and to other people involved in different communities that are interested in doing on tackling environmental issues. We also have respond to public petitions, and we do cooperative work. So I will specifically talk about the cooperative aspect of our work. Um, so at the Green Growth Unit specifically, we have a variety of topics that we cover. We work on food loss and waste. We work on recycling and solid waste management, circular economy, environmental education. And the way we have been engaging youth has been in diverse ways. So for the food loss and waste initiative, we first have been doing research on what's the problem, what's the situation on food loss and waste in the region, and what are the opportunities. And then we have been starting to build different tools, for example, for youth and educators, so they know more about the impact of food loss and waste. We have an action kit, for example, that addresses kids and youth, and we give resources here so they can learn more about how to measure their food loss and waste, and ways to tackle this problem by themselves. What can they do? And we also have other tools, for example, guidelines for businesses, so they can measure their waste, their food loss and waste. We have also run different social media campaigns that have been strongly addressed for youth. For example, one that we were looking for youth heroes on the food loss and waste environment. That's one example. We also have an eco-innovation network where we put together at a regional level different innovation hubs where we aim to really empower youth and entrepreneurship on the sustainability realm. And we also are working on an environmental education initiative where we really want to highlight its focus for youth, and we aim to include different knowledge systems in here. So these are some of the projects where we are trying to involve youth. But later on there will be another session at 5, where, or maybe during the session, Julie also is here, my colleague, and she can highlight other ways in which youth have been involved, and we're trying to involve youth at the CEC. Yeah.
Indeed, this is a collaborative effort. You have your colleague with you, and you're
Yeah.
doing different sessions. Thank you so much for telling us about CEC and the work that CEC has supported you to enhance climate action and to promote for a sustainable future. Thank you, Elise. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Zahab, thank you. Zahab, I now turn to you. You are a coach, a beauty pageant contestant, an athlete, a TED Talk speaker, a Guinness World Record holder, and a student majored in computer science. When you have a diversity of interests, because you're so talented, capable of accomplishing different goals, and you're so dedicated and committed, you manage your time and your relationships really well. And I would love to turn the floor to you and tell us about your experience and how you have come to accomplish so much in your life.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for introducing me. Such a nice word. Hi, everyone, and my name is Zahab Kamal Khan. And she already introduced me such a nice words, but I'm a professional squash player and a coach, and I have 2 times Guinness World Record, and I am president and co-founder for Educate Athletes Social Welfare Organization, and we are running this organization for past 5 years, and our more focus is to educate underprivileged children with their education and with their sports. And for myself, I was very young when I started sports. I was 15 years old, and I instantly like when I see squash. This is my first day, and I really loved it playing squash, and that gives me so much push of my career, where I picked squash and I was too into it, and I do it regular practice every day. And I began well known as a famous player, and but I noticed that there were not many women in Pakistan as a popular players. There were only men who were on the top ranked and on the top grades. So that time I decided I should start practicing more, and wants to encourage my country, and wants to have make my country proud as a female athlete. Growing up in Karachi, Pakistan, as a female, I have seen how sports had potential to support UN Sustainable Development Goals. And sports for development and peace is the growing tool in which sports are used to address the SDGs, including youth development and women's empowerment. I would also highlight sports also give you peace among children of different backgrounds. Sports can all allow children to build confidence in their life, learn to pursue and fulfill their dreams, and lift others children around them, and accomplish like they can achieve their titles by learning so much things. As I began to pursue my career in sports, my society was hit by bomb attacks and political instability. Along with the political instability, extremist group in the country limit women's empowerment. However, sports were unique as they provide a ways for women's accomplishments to be celebrated. And after playing my first international tournament, I was so excited to see myself in national newspaper the next day, and the headline was upcoming female player. So as I continue to become more well known in squash, also media, I gained so much media attention towards me, and Pakistan media gave me a title that called Rapunzel of Pakistan. because of my hair that was down to the floor. And with that big long hair, they gave me title for Rapunzel. After moving to US, I decided to set two Guinness World Record. One was most hair clips on my head, and I put 1100 hair clips on my head. And then second was most hair donated by an individual, and I have donated 5 feet 1 inches of my hair. So setting these records give me an opportunity to connect with local businesses in Washington D.C. area and connect with local businesses and national media to in the United States, which allow me to continue growing my platform as start getting more awareness about other children's. Um, I have to say that it's like a main part of my life is I was blessed to have my family support and covered the cost of my traveling and training. And I have noticed that around me there were many kids who were not that lucky, and they have struggled a lot with just traveling and their cost. Same as I was in my school, and I have seen other kids, especially girls around me, who wanted to attend schools, but they could not. And the main reason was the family cannot afford their education. And if I ask them why you were not able to go to school, and so they always come up and say, we want to play squash because we look at ourselves as a coach in future and make money out of it, which is I understand, but most of the time that happens around me. And I have noticed like there are so many colleagues in the morning when I go and I see them around there that time was the school time and they're still playing squash. Similarly, when I was in my training session, I have seen kids who were wearing old shoes and broken rackets. I understand squash is very expensive sports, and international professional racket can cost up to 150 to $200, which is very expensive for most of the children's. So I start helping them by providing my equipments, and I was hoping they can continue their sports career. Realizing this, my sister and I decide to start our nonprofit, and we named as Educate Athlete Social Welfare Organization, which is to help underprivileged children with their sports and with their education. We start our work with very small scale. We start with just 3 kids. We pay their tuition fees, and we support their families with food and clothes drives. And over time, we start gaining more support with donors, and people start believing on our work, which give us a big impact in our organization. And in past 3 years, we have grown to pay more than 60 kids tuition fees and provide their family with food assistant and rental assistant. While our primary focus is to provide support of the children with their education and athletics, we also recognize that allowing these children to pursue their passion requires support for their family. Uh, my of course as I said this in my speech, my journey would not be possible without my family support, like not just financially but also their openness is allowing my sister and I to become a professional athlete in our careers, and their belief that education is also good for a girls and make you strong. As an organization, we work to support families to encourage them to allow their children to pursue their education and sports, and changing their mindset that school and athletics are not only for son, that's also for daughter. So this means that financially means to provide the mindset. We are currently working with partner with schools to hold advocacy programs for sports and continuing to expand our organization with partner with new donors and nonprofit include Markaz Yomid Foundation. Markaz Yomid Foundation is doing great job and with their special need children's, and my team has recently participated with them by doing a sports activity and helping them around. We hope to continue this work and hoping of gaining great investment to open our sports complex in Karachi, Pakistan, to develop a space to provide training for as many as children's from underprivileged area to come train with us and to get a proper education. While I became well known as the longest hair, I am now able to use that network to shift the focus of my focus to it's not enough, and I feel like I can move my focus for my nonprofit and raising awareness for girls, especially in Pakistan, so they can have their education properly and they whatever sports they would like to play. For many individuals like me, sports not only give us the chance to grow as athletes, but it also gives us skills, mindset, and exposure to large audience to incorporate in our career beyond our time as athletes. By encouraging these children to pursue sports, we are not only helping them to grow as athletes, but we are also giving them necessary skills to change mindset in their own societies. They can also foster collaborate across communities and different backgrounds. We have seen several successful stories. Like example is like national games or Olympics and the World Cups that allow people to come together around shared of love, and they shared love of sports together. At an individual level, sports can allow children to greater explore to other exposure to other children background, and by bringing these children together for both teammates and competitor, we are able to promote more understanding between the children. They will respect each other and unity through shared of sports. As we continue to make towards the SDGs, we must continue exploring new and innovative ways to overcome our difference and come together around shared passions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What I love about being in an in-person interactive workshop or session is that you get to interact with the audience, both online and also in person. And today we have heard amazing speeches from both of the speakers here. And I would like to turn to our audience and ask you, do you have any questions for Ilse and also for Zahab? And please feel free to also join us online if you have any questions or commentaries for our two wonderful speakers here. Yes, please.
So what made you interested in starting your work with youth environment?
Well, since I'm a little girl, I've always loved nature, and I've always wanted to work on something related to nature. So I think I'm very lucky to have been able to become a biologist and be able to work at the Commission of Environmental Cooperation. Right now, I'm based in Montreal, but it's great to be able to do environmental work for the three North American countries. So I do environmental work for Canada, where I live, but also for my uh, home country in Mexico. So, yeah. Thank you.
And I love how both of the work that you do is intersectional and intersectoral, meaning that they cut across different sections and you work with youth from different backgrounds. And thank you so much for helping to embrace diversity and show us how talented we are to be able to bring our actions forward and turn discussions into innovation, turn discussions into action, and turn discussions into meaningful engagements like how we're here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Hi, I really liked what you were saying about how learning sports is a lot more than just teaching you those skills, and it can really be applied to other parts of life. And I believe that sports training is life training. And I was just wondering, how did your experience playing squash with you and your sisters bring about societal changes in the attitudes of your community and perceptions of women's sports?
That's the reason, like when we were playing squash in the beginning, people have no idea that first of all why these girls are playing squash, and we make their change their mind. We make people to know, no, it's not just men's, it's also women's can achieve the target, and also women can represent their country. So by the time I was doing my step to step struggling for all those things, I mean, I have changed couple mindsets, and that goes a straight message to those people who don't let women and men be equal, who just keep girls like, okay, fine, these girls can only stay in a sport for a while and then doesn't change afterwards. But I mean, it's same for both. So that mindset comes when I was taking my steps.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions and commentaries? Please feel free to engage with us.
Jessica, maybe I can add a bit more information. Throughout these talks, I've been hearing a lot of questions about how youth can be involved and and also I heard a speaker mentioning like this was a time for youth to strengthen their capacities to eventually be able to to become even greater leaders. So I just wanted to share some resources that we currently have and that you can access to them. We have them in our website, so you can also log in there. But as I mentioned, for the Food Loss and Waste project, we've been working a lot with educators, a lot with youth, and we do have these action kit that you can look into. Also for businesses related to, well, for example, restaurants can log in and look at the guideline that we have. For the Econovation Network, this is a network that we wanted, as I was mentioning, to empower youth and youth innovation. So we're currently transitioning, and the University of Waterloo is going to take over the leadership of these network. But throughout this network, we've been creating different webinar series and workshops. For example, the Youth Ambassador Program, and different resources for youth to be active, to create this network of youth entrepreneurs. So I would welcome you to check that out as well. Right now we have a webinar series going on. It's called Fostering Youth-Led Innovation for the SDGs. It started in June and will end up in October. So I will invite you to check that out. And also, we're currently trying to involve youth more and more in the work that we do. For example, right now we're designing an initiative on environmental education. And what we want to achieve here is to promote community-led work. And we really want to help or collaborate with youth. So we create tools and resources for them to be able to develop and strengthen their abilities to implement and facilitate ecosystem conservation and climate action work in their communities. So I would be super happy to talk more about this initiative, and I would like to hear. Part of what we want to do is hear youth and take your perspective into account for this initiative. So we can talk after this session or during this session as you want. And also part of our work, when we finish designing a project, we open a public consultation. So this is a moment where we can, well, anyone, of course, you are welcome to share your thoughts about what we're proposing. These projects are made out of tax money, so of course you should have a voice on this, especially for the North American region. So I will invite you to participate, actively participate on through these different paths that we have.
It would be so great to see a collaboration between the two speakers, organizations, and entities.
Yeah.
Because sports and climate action, they both help youth to strengthen their skill sets, both soft skills and hard skills. They also help to strengthen capacity building. And above all, they help us to promote a relationship that is long lasting and sustainable. And they also help us to build our resilience. There's so much there. It's very significant to actually put two different sectors together and see how youth-led initiatives would be able to enhance that partnership. So I am very looking forward to the two of you and seeing what may come next. And as we conclude our session today, do you have any closing remarks for our audience in person and online? And I see that we do have one.
Sorry, I have one really quick question now that you've mentioned combining the two. I was just wondering, for climate action, are you taking any steps to make sustainability or just like becoming greener, like accessible to underprivileged communities? Because I think a lot of the time sustainability is a really expensive feat. So is there anything you're doing about that?
Yeah, for our work, what we right now we're designing this initiative where actually we're trying to address communities. So we're still developing the initiative, but what we want to do is kind of create like a toolkit for communities to be able to implement climate action work and address environmental issues in their communities. So we're talking about well, maybe it's a bit ambitious, but we really want to be doing a co-design process with the communities. So yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve. And specifically, we're addressing indigenous communities in North America. These tools that we're going to develop, this environmental framework, we're aiming to pilot in 3 different communities, one per country. So yeah, that's our first step to address that. Thank you.
Yes, please.
I could add on, I don't want to.
Go ahead.
I work with your thing. So also on sporting communities, we have 2 type of grants that are open for any person or organization throughout North America. So the first one actually opened last week. It's IG for Climate. It's on environmental justice and climate resilience. So this is open for any person who wants funding to create change within the community. There's another one that will be open in a few months. It's NAPICA. It stands for North American Partnership for Environmental Community Action. So this is also a way for vulnerable communities to find a way to finance their initiatives and to find a way to enhance their action.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you so much. And here I would like to turn to the speakers. Do you have any closing remarks for our audience?
So I would like to say thank you to the whole team for inviting us. And I would say at the end that we are working on underprivileged children in Pakistan, but our main focus is to teach them more unity and to give them as much as awareness about sports and education, and that will bring little bit on them, like when they're teammates or when they're competitors with each other, they're still promoting respect, they're still promoting unity between both communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I would just want to thank. Oh, there's a question. Go ahead.
Okay, so this question's for Zia. I wanted to ask. So the initiative is in Pakistan right now, but I'm sure that there's other like countries and other like areas that may still suffer from having the same ideology of
Yes.
either not respecting sports for women or not seeing sports the way that you see sports in addition to education. So do you plan on expanding the nonprofits other areas, or is it just an initiative just for the Pakistan area?
So we start with our city, Karachi, and we are looking forward to expand as much as possible. We will do different collaboration with nonprofits and try to expand as much as possible. And if we get a chance to go other countries and work with them, so definitely why not? We will go and work.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as final remarks, I just wanted to thank you, Jessica, for the invitation. It's great to be part of this panel, be sharing throughout all this week during Climate Week and the International Youth Conference. Thank you. I would invite you, everyone, to connect. Let's chat. We're very interested in engaging youth in our work. Julie and I have been talking about it all week and in identifying ways to engage more with youth. So we'll be happy to talk more about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Zahab and thank you, Ilse, for coming and joining us at the International Youth Conference. This concludes our session for today. Thank you.
Thank you.